Okay, so let me, how do I want to begin this? I feel like I want to come on today to be a safe place for people who are coming to the realization that the people that they trusted on YouTube to guide them through the law, to tell them what is going on, to help them interpret what is happening in the courtroom because they are professional lawyers with law degrees. They have been gaslighting you. They have been lying to you. They have been deceiving you. And they have been doing all of this for your money, your likes, and your views. All of these assholes know that Karen Read is guilty. All of them know what is going on. And none of them, to this day, are being honest with their people about it. When I first started watching this trial, which was literally the first day of trial one, Rennie, no, leave it. I did this. I went around to different law tubers to see what was going on because I very quickly realized that the spin in the media was completely false. I already knew that by the end of day one. And I had Lally's opening, okay, which we can all agree was not good. But I had been researching it on my own, going to people's channels that read court documents and talked about facts in the case, like Yellow Cottage Tales and Twisted Tragedies and mass. Yeah. Why do they hate them? Because they are the truth tellers. They are the people that are trying to show everybody the truth. Okay, and what is happening in society with this is very, very, very scary. These people have weaponized their knowledge of the law to literally gaslight y'all and to literally lie to y'all. Now, I haven't watched what Emily talked about today, but I was over on Twisted Tragedies and she said that somebody was telling her that Emily was calling out Jackson for being dishonest finally for once. So I'm going to see how she sums this up. I just watched her listen to Brennan and Alessi go over the actual lies that the defense has been telling this entire time, and which Brennan called out in court, which Brennan literally said they have been committing fraud, and mainstream media doesn't want to acknowledge it. Social media doesn't want to acknowledge it. Again, it's the very few honest creators with integrity who tell you the truth. They're the ones that don't make a ton of money. They're the ones that don't have billions of followers because they're not going to lie to you to get your money. They enjoy trial watching. Those of us like myself that have gotten involved in this, we care about these people. I cried today. I will probably cry every day of this trial. It is very sad. I care about the families involved in this. I care about the havoc that has been wreaked on that community by one selfish person and her attorneys who decided that they were going to flush any ethical integrity that they've ever had, which from the sounds of it, I don't think AJ had much to begin with, since he's been a defense attorney, but it sounds like Yannetti had a good reputation, and they've flushed it down the toilet. If everything is dealt with in a proper manner regarding these attorneys, they literally should not only lose their law licenses, they should go to prison. They have committed fraud. They have most likely been embezzling. There are RICO charges. That's what the RICO statute is for. Okay. And all of these little creators that are making millions of dollars off of everybody that wants to spin the conspiracy theory because you think it's funny or you think that it's some outrage about people trying to frame an innocent woman, which it's not. Nobody gives a shit about Karen Read. Nobody gives a shit enough to put their lives and their families through the hell that they've been put through. They're not going to try to frame somebody. They want to get justice for their loved one. She killed him, and they want her to be held accountable. And it's really disheartening to see the comments. I went over on Melanie Little's channel for a moment, and I wanted to just see what she was saying because she's the worst. She's disgusting in what she says. She is just as angry at John as Karen is. It's disgusting, the shit that she says. She's constantly saying negative things about John's family, friends, loved ones, the EMT people, the hospital, everybody in the world. According to Melanie Little, everybody in the world is a lying asshole, including John's family, including the people that tried to save his life. And Nuttall did an amazing job today. I really just wanted to give that man a hug. Like, good job, dude. Way to hold your own, way to stand in your truth, and way to not let the bully you. Because what Jackson does is disgusting. And if y'all don't see how disgusting it is that he treats these people like this, then I would really highly suggest that you take a break, you do some breathing, a little time to debrief, and then really think about. This man is questioning a man that tried to save somebody's life on the morning that he found him in the snow by himself. Okay? This man that Jackson wanted to just eviscerate on the stand today. And this happened 3 years ago, roughly, okay? And Jackson and Melanie Little and Emily D. Baker and the lawyer you know and all of these fucking assholes that lie to you to get your money, literally, that is why they're doing it, to get your money, just completely laying into him. Like, oh, you don't remember exactly what you said over here, but you said exactly what you said over here. Like, this was 3 years ago, Alan. It was 3 years ago. And it was a shocking, horrible morning. And for you to attack an EMT person who is trying to save somebody's life the way that he does, he did this to every single witness last year. Is he going to do it again? I honestly, it's like, how do you... the fact that they are so blind to how that looks to people that have empathy and compassion and love in their heart, like, that is not normal. That is not a normal way to treat somebody. Even if you literally know them personally and you're personally pissed at them, it's like too much for that even. But he's doing this to every single witness, every single person involved in this soap opera bullshit that they have made this. Everybody in the world is lying except his murderous client. They're narcissistic psychopaths. They clearly don't even see. And Melanie Little is right there with them. She doesn't even see how asinine the shit that she says. And then to see comments on her page about when Brennan's doing his opening, I see comments popping up like, oh, he's so dramatic. It's so dramatic for no reason. Bleh. Like, these are the type of comments. I'm like, first of all, how old are these people that are commenting on your page? Are they 13? Because that's about the mentality that I would expect somebody like that to be making the comments that Melanie Little and Emily D. Baker, lawyer, you know, all these people that do this, that's about what I expect for maturity, emotional maturity wise. That's what it seems like to me. But even that is a stretch because most people aren't like that to people that they don't even know. Okay? So maybe if you have a grudge against one person or the other person, but to do it to 80 people on the stand is a totally different thing. And the fact that they cannot see that that is not normal and that comments like that, it's like this man is giving an opening statement about the morning that this whole trial is about, that he was found deceased. That's what this trial is about, people. In case you forgot, it's not about Karen Read. She murdered John. So this is about getting justice for John O'Keefe. Okay? So when the prosecuting attorney who is charging the murder defendant for the crime in which she is charged with, when he gets up to give his opening, damn well right he should have some emotion behind it. Damn well right it should be a little dramatic. Damn well right. Why? Because it's a man's life. And the scene that he is describing is the morning that people found him and tried to save his life. So to all of you that made your stupid little snidey comments about this is so dramatic for no reason, I want you to think about what you would say to somebody if that was your brother, your son, your uncle, your father, if that was their murder trial. And you flipped on YouTube and you watched people saying, oh, the prosecutor's being so dramatic for no good reason when they're trying to get justice for your loved one. Really? Why do you people watch trials? If it's not about getting justice, if it's not about finding the truth, then that's a totally different thing. The reason I popped on tonight, I don't really go on very much anymore because the whole situation is so out of control, and I just want to watch this and hope to God that we get justice and move on, because it's what has happened to society that I've seen is scary as shit. I have seen reputable mainstream media people completely ignore facts, completely spin the conspiracy. Vinnie Politan, Matt Johnson, Ted Daniels, Christina Rex, Sue O'Connell. The freaking Canton Confidential show is a fucking joke. They don't address the facts. Nobody has even reported, except I think Fox is the only people that I've seen be actually somewhat correct. They just don't dig deep enough. I wish they would, because I think Fox would love to reveal this scandal. So hopefully somebody from Fox hears me or hears somebody and says, shit, this is a juicy ass story. Because you guys want a juicy ass story? It's here. And it's ready to be broken. And lots of us little people that don't have any connections to mainstream media are screaming it. But we don't have the reach. And it's really sad to watch these people that I've respected, like Vinnie Politan, just completely shit all over his whole career. He is helping. He knows exactly what has happened to this community. He knows exactly what Turtle Boy and Karen Read did to this community. He knows, and he is not addressing it, and he is ignoring it, and he literally highlights these cult members. And I'm going to use the word cult because it literally is, people. These people, if you are not part of the con, you are being conned. And by this point, if you literally truly believe that Karen Read is innocent, you have been brainwashed. You literally have been brainwashed. And I do not say that to be mean. I say that because I want you to have knowledge in the fact that you're not alone. A lot of people got tricked in this. Okay? Twisted Tragedies is doing streaming every day. If you need, she is really good about answering questions. She's a really good YouTube channel to go to. Yellow Cottage Tales is also, but Twisted Tragedies like answers all questions that people have for her. She takes the time to explain everything. If you're not trolling, if you really want the truth, please stop into her channel. The chat will treat you well. It's people that care about people there, okay? It's not about clout or fame or money or power or whatever. Politics, power, and money, that's what this whole thing has been about. And there has been so much dirty shit. Josh Levy, the USA that just left when Trump went back into office, he was dirty. Yannetti and Jackson and apparently Alessi and Little are dirty as fuck. I gave Alessi and Little the benefit of the doubt, but after all of this stuff started coming out, it's pretty clear to me that they knew exactly what was going on too. So unfortunately, the whole kit and caboodle, they're just pulling more people in to take them down. It's sad. This is not about an injustice. So if you think that there's been an injustice toward Karen, you really need to rethink what the truth is. I am here because I want you to know that you are not alone. I want you to know that there are people that will help guide you out of this. There are people that will take your hand and answer all of your questions. And trust me when I tell you, there are a lot of people that have contacted the creators that I mentioned that have come out of this FKR movement and been like, holy shit, I cannot believe that I fell for this. I cannot believe that I took those actions or said those things. And it's okay. You can trust them. They respect you. They know that you've been bamboozled. They know that these people have completely disloyal. They have betrayed your trust, and it's disgusting, and they keep doing it. And I just, the whole, I'm a true crime person. I love true crime. I like investigating things. I love learning. I like the puzzles of things. I like figuring out, and I'm also really into psychology. So all of this is very, but I never was a YouTube person. Okay. I'm not a social media person, period. I don't like it. I prefer interpersonal communication. I've always been that way. I would rather go out and have coffee with you or talk to you on Zoom or do something so that we're not just like online and I don't know you and I'm just giving you money to tell me lies. Like, this is the part that shocks me, how much money these people make. Emily D. Baker apparently did some interview where she's making like, I can't remember. Elise said that she was making she makes a lot of money on YouTube. Like, she quit being a lawyer to do YouTube because she was making so much more money on YouTube. And she just lies. I don't know if she lies all the time because I've never really watched her. I only started paying attention to this stuff when I started watching the Karen Read trial because I was really into the Idaho case. I had to take a break. We weren't getting any information on that case. It was making me crazy. And literally the day that I decided to just walk away from that case for a while, and I still haven't really went back into it yet, but the Karen Read trial was starting. So I literally was like, fuck it. I heard a lot about it, but I wasn't interested in it at all. I just was not even, but I was like, fuck it. I'll just watch today, and then what I started to see as I was watching, I start, watching on Law and Crime, and then I find some of these other creators, and I start going there, and I'm like, well, I'm listening to Melanie Little, and I'm like, this bitch is lying, and then I go check out all these other lawyers, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then I watch mainstream media and I watch Vinnie Politan do some bullshit. And I'm like, my husband walks in and I'm like, what the fuck is seriously going on right now? Like, am I in a different dimension? Because what is happening? Like, they're gaslighting the shit out of everybody and lying to everybody, including the court. They're literally committing fraud in the courtroom in front of the judge. And the thing that blows my mind is Lally called this shit out. And Bev wouldn't hear it. She wouldn't hear it. Thank God that Brennan is not going to let this shit go. He's like me. He's like a dog with a bone. He is not going to just say, okay, good enough. No. In my heart of hearts, I believe that Brennan is going to not only convict Karen Read on second-degree murder, but he is going to get these scuzzy lawyers indicted. Hopefully Josh Levy gets some investigations. And whoever else. I'm hoping all of these YouTube creators, there's going to be a lot of civil suits that I know of, that a lot of these victims who were nothing more than loved ones or witnesses, loved ones of John's or community members of John's, who were trying to help save his life. And they have been terrorized for 3 years because some asshole decided that they wanted to start a conspiracy, and they spun it with the help of a psychopathic YouTuber named Turtle Boy. And all of these other YouTubers jumped on board because that's what they do. They go where the conspiracy goes because that's what they get paid for. And they don't give a shit if they piss people off. They don't care about people with integrity that go on their channel and write like, would you please have a conversation with me? Can I talk to you? This was me. I wasn't on YouTube. I am not a person that sits in chat rooms, but I'm watching these people and I'm like, this is so misguided. So at first I'm like reaching out to all of these creators, Brandy Churchwell, Melanie Little, Broken Baker, Turtle Boy, all of them, Mike at the Young Jerks, LTL Bryan, like all of them. I'm like, can we talk? And they literally prevent me from chatting. They don't respond. They delete messages. And I was very, very respectful because I didn't know what was going on yet. I didn't know the full capacity of the evil that this is. This is evil. It is truly evil what they are doing. And at that point, I literally was trying to figure out, are they misguided? Do they not know? And I'm wondering, like, why do all of them only have guests on that agree with them? Like, all of them think Karen's innocent. They don't ever entertain anybody that thinks differently. So I'm like, well, you know, I've seen them say really rude things, but I'm like, maybe they just need to have a respectful conversation with an intelligent person who can hold a conversation without calling people names and things. So that's what I was trying to do. And none of them would do it. So eventually, I just was like, fuck it. I'm just starting my own channel because I need to just talk. I need to vent. I need to just let the world know that they are, like, they're not alone if they feel like they're being gaslit and shit, because you are being gaslit and shit. And this is the craziest shit I have ever watched. Like, I'm not a political person. I stay as far away from politics as I possibly can. Unfortunately, getting into the dirt and the mess of this case has pulled me in a little bit with regard to politics, with regard to the power part of Josh Levy and the office of the United States Attorney's Office. I mean, they're literally, it's the president, the vice president, and then the U.S. attorneys. I mean, they're very, very powerful. And when they abuse that power, Josh Levy, and the reason why it pisses me off so bad with people like Josh Levy, Melanie Little, well, okay, let me segregate these people. So people like Josh Levy, obviously, he's the one with the power. And he knows what he did. And he didn't take any steps to rectify it, nor would he even meet with John's family. He didn't return phone calls. He wouldn't return emails. He would not have a conversation with John's brother Paul. He wouldn't. He avoided it. This pussy of a man who is one of the most powerful men in America took steps to impede justice for his murdered brother and then avoided him for the next 2 years until he left and went back to ropes and gray. I hope to God that man gets taken down. Okay, obviously we can know why that pisses people off when people in power do that kind of shit, because very few people can do anything about that. But I know that Hank Brennan knows at least what I know, and probably so much more. So trust me when I say, I mean, I don't have any inside information, but I know Hank's personality because I'm very much like that with things like this. Like, oh, hell no. I'm not watching this injustice happen before my eyes and letting you do this shit. Hell no. So my hope is that Morrissey also hires Hank to prosecute Turtle Boy when this is done, because they need somebody that's going to put that man in prison. And I think he really wants to go to prison. He wants to be that martyr. It really, the actions and the words that he's taken, it's like he's begging. Because he thinks he's the next Jesus Christ, I guess. And so, like, this is what I'm talking about, the cult. He's brainwashed people. People watch his show and he's, like, degrading them and calling them names and telling them that they have no right to be there. And if they don't give him $5 there, he's not going to read their question. And I mean, if you haven't ever watched his show for 5 minutes, check it out. This is how he treats people, and they love it. These people they literally pay a YouTube creator to treat them like this. And that's scary to me, because I just think if that's what they yearn for that on their social media life, how much abuse are they inviting into their life and their actual personal life? Like, this is a very, very concerning thing. And there was a new documentary on Netflix that came out a month or two ago on Manson. And it's like, this is exactly what's going on. This is what Turtle Boy and Karen Reed and all these little asshole YouTube creators are doing. They're brainwashing you. One of the things that Melanie Little does every time, because I'll go check on her show during the trial just to see what she's telling her audience when something bombastic comes out, right? Like when the whole fraud was being exposed. And she was just like, I mean, she's either just super quiet and just pretends like it didn't happen, which is, usually they just have amnesia about it. They don't ever address it. They're just like, oh, he's being dramatic, whatever. They just it's like, no, these guys are literally breaking the law. And the only reason that they're still in the courtroom is because they need to get this bitch put into prison. Okay. So they can't do what they're going to do to them until after they're done with this trial, so that she's actually put in prison, and then they can deal with the rest of the crap. They have broken the law over and over and over again. And, I've given Judge Cannoni the benefit of the doubt in a lot of this lately. I mean, thank God today she finally put her foot down. But, how far is she going to really establish that putting the foot down? At least she's having the voir dire, but, I don't know what's going to come of that, because those men perjured themselves. They perjured themselves, and they should get charged. So we'll see where that goes. At least she continued to call that out today, and she didn't just sweep it under the rug like Alessi wanted her to do. Just pretending like that shit never happened. They're still just pretending like they have a totally normal relationship with Arca. Here's the thing, guys. This is what they don't want you to know. Yes, if you have experts that you hire to do work in your case, when you go to trial as an attorney, the Commonwealth or the state gives all of their discovery to the defense. The defense looks at all of that discovery and decides what they need to do for their case. And then they provide all of the relevant discovery back to the state. The state has a higher burden, and they need to make damn sure that they turn everything over, because if they don't, then, as we all know, we could have Brady violations. People can get off of murder charges. It's a whole bad deal. Okay. So they have to be very diligent. And as much as people are hating the government, and trust me, I understand there's a lot of distrust. And quite frankly, I mean, I'm watching Josh Levy do what he does, and I'm like, this man is one of the most powerful men in the world, and nobody is holding his feet to the fire. Nobody. Except Hank Brennan is going to. I have full faith that he's going to. I don't have full faith that they're going to get the punishment that they all deserve, because Massachusetts seems to be a state that you should just, if you ever want to, commit crimes, that's probably where you want to go, because it doesn't seem like really, doesn't seem like they really actually prosecute or take it seriously. I mean, Turtle Boy has like 19 or 20 witness intimidation felony charges in federal court, and he got a violation because he got a new charge not that long ago, and his bail should have been revoked. And then the judge, I sat and watched the judge completely misread the law, which I'm pretty sure that Turtle Boy has people in all of these places. In the Stoughton courts, they judge shop there. Like, it's really weird to me, the shit that they can get away with. Like, if they don't want a certain judge, then they'll just, I have an appointment that day, we need to try to reschedule it. And they try to get the judge that apparently is in their back pocket. The judge just let him go. And it was like, basically told the prosecutor that he didn't do what he needed to do to get him to have him violated. What happened? And he did. He went to court. He had court for his other charges. The day before he went to that court, he got a new witness intimidation charge. It got brought to the court's attention. That court wasn't going to do anything about it because he hadn't been arraigned in that court. He was in court for a different reason, but it just got brought to that judge's attention just because it was relevant to the case at hand. So then when he goes in the next week for his arraignment on the new charge, the judge tells the prosecutor that Cosgrove that he should have gotten, that Cosgrove should have told the judge in the federal court the week before, and if they didn't revoke his bail then they didn't follow procedure, which is bullshit because he hadn't been arraigned on the new charge yet. So you can't tell me that the judge misread the law and didn't know what the law was. I don't understand that. I've watched them mistreat and not protect all of these innocent witnesses. This is why I'm so invested in this case, because I'm watching the injustice around all of these people, except the defendant, except the actual criminals, except the people that are continuing to commit crimes. They're being protected while all of the family men, family women, upstanding citizens are being victimized by not only these criminals, but the system itself. It's shocking to me. And then to watch these people make millions of dollars on YouTube by promoting this shit and taking vacations off of making money off of John O'Keefe's name and literally trying to free the woman who murdered him. I don't understand it. I don't understand how there can be this many humans in the world that think that that's a good idea, that think that it's totally normal to re-victimize victims and make up total, complete, fabricated lies and call them murderers with not a scintilla of evidence. These people that shout everybody to give Karen, I don't have any problem calling Karen a murderer. I've seen the evidence. She's a murderer. Whether she gets legally convicted of it or not, that's yet to be seen. But she murdered John. I've seen the evidence. Just like I know that OJ killed his wife, and I know that Casey Anthony killed her baby. I have no problem calling these people murderers. If they want to sue me, they're going to have to prove that they're not, and pretty sure that everybody in the world would be like, yeah, you can't sue that person for defamation, because quite frankly, you are. Like, the truth is the only defense, right? Defamation and libel. So I'm not worried about it. She killed John, okay? But these people that scream FKR, they're accusing Jen McCabe and Brian Albert and Brian Higgins and Colin Albert, at the time was 17 years old, and a German Shepherd dog. And I'm a dog freak, most of you know, okay? So, like, you're accusing everybody in the world, and they're literally calling them murderers. They have victimized them for the last 3 years, and there's not any evidence. And in fact, the FBI investigated and found no evidence. They have all of the phone records of all of these people that have been victimized by these YouTube creators, as well as the government. And they have looked into all of their GPS. They've done all of it. They've looked at everything. The feds did not bring any charges. Karen Read is still on trial. If the feds found anything that exonerated Karen Read, they have no choice but to bring that to the attention of the court, and Karen Read would walk out a free woman. But guess why that's not happening? Because she's guilty. They're not required to turn over evidence that would help convict her, but they are required to turn over evidence that would exonerate her. So if they found anything, they would have it. And they want to scream about Michael Proctor, and that poor man and his family have been through hell, and she's stolen his job from him because he called her a cunt because she murdered her boyfriend. Like, seriously? And the whole government there, the governor and the mayor and I can't remember which lady. I saw a lady on the news one night, like, degrading him and saying that it was unacceptable for him to speak like that. Like, yeah, I get that. But let's be real, people. Like, we're all humans, and we all have human reactions. And if you realize that somebody ran over her boyfriend, you might have a negative reaction about that. Now, should he have done it on his personal phone? Probably not. Okay, that's the lesson here. But people are going to be people, and people need to vent. So to put him in this box where he should never, oh my God, it's so awful. But Karen can sit and swear at John and tell him that she fucking hates him and he's a pervert, and all the crap that came out in last trial is just the tip of the iceberg, folks. She is a psychopath. She is dangerous. And she's wearing a mask. And I can't tell anymore how many people actually believe this shit, or how many people are part of the con. Because I see some people like Tony Bruschi who started calling it out on his channel, but he's still like, yeah, but she's clearly a narcissist, and he's going through the psychology of it, which is the same shit I've been talking about for the last year and a half. And so finally, one more creator is at least observing that, but he's like, but none of that makes her a murderer. And it's like, yeah, Tony, but keep going. Like, look at the evidence. Look at the evidence. Just look at the car data. The woman threw her car in reverse, pushed the accelerator down 75%. The Lexus recorded an incident that was consistent with a pedestrian strike. And she fucking left him there to die. And quite honestly, she probably went back there in the morning before she went to Jen's. We'll find out in this trial what Hank got in the new chip on, chip off. I mean, there's the data along with his phone data, and that time that car registered that was the exact time that John's phone stopped moving. Like 2 seconds after that. Forever. Until Carrie found his phone the next day under him. in the grass where he had been lying, and the snow had piled on top of him. I cannot believe the amount of people I've watched like mental health professionals. There's this new chick on here who says I Don't Belong Here is the name of her channel. She's like 6 kinds of psychology majors and has professional licenses, and she literally doesn't see this. She doesn't see that Karen is guilty. She's making every excuse for her under the sun, just like all these other people do. Like, oh, she was just mad. We've all done shit like that when we get drunk. I'm sorry, that's not normal behavior. And if you think that that's normal behavior, you may, and I'm not saying this to be mean either, but you may want to at least talk to a friend about it, because it's not normal. It's not normal to scream and yell at the person that you supposedly love like that and tell them that you hate them and call them every name. Like, that's not normal. Being upset with somebody and being mature about it and having, maybe little outbursts, but that is not normal. Okay? It's just not. And she's a 44-year-old woman. So it'd be different if she was 16, then I could see it a little bit more, but she's not. But this chick on I Don't Belong Here, she's talking about how all, just like all these people, justice served, like all these new people are jumping on board now. They want to talk about butt dials, and the way that they testified seems sketchy. Like, okay, these people are not on trial. So why are you dissecting every single witness, but you're not looking at the reality of the defendant, the criminal defendant? These people literally put her on a pedestal, ignore all of the red flags that just shout. Like I'm telling you, I didn't get involved in all the social media shit on this. Like, I was doing my own investigating on a different case. So when I came into this, I knew a little bit. I knew the name Turtle Boy. I knew that he was involved and he was calling out corruption, and I literally thought that there's a good possibility that she could be innocent. But it seemed like after the first day, I'm like, this is domestic violence. This chick is not well, and she got pissed and she ran over her boy. Like, it's a very simple case, and everybody has made it about everything else except the facts of the case. And it's really, really sad, because I just keep thinking, like, I watch people like the lawyer, and Emily D. Baker and Melanie Little, and these people that have these huge followings that people trust. And I know they're lying to them, because I don't have a law degree, but I know what's going on because I like to learn, and because I look shit up and I do my own research and I understand the law. And if I don't, I ask people that practice in that area, how does this work? What happens with this? Is this normal? And I trust people who are trustworthy, who show me that they're trustworthy. But I always trust but verify. Don't ever just believe somebody. And especially this far down the road. Like, the people that are on these channels that I'm mentioning, they literally don't have any idea what the facts of the case are, because they're getting all of their information from these YouTube creators who are all basically getting it from Karen and her defense team. It's all trickling through. It was at the beginning trickling through Turtle Boy. I think Karen's tried to dissect that relationship, but I mean, they're inextricably entwined. Like, you can't. And they both, if there's any justice in the world, will go to prison. They damn well, if there were ever any two people that deserved prison for the rest of their lives, it's these two. The amount of lives and the amount of havoc that they've wreaked because she didn't want to take accountability. Karen Read was offered 18 months, I think it was 12 to 18 months. I want to say 18 months when she was initially charged with manslaughter. They offered her a deal. She would have been done in a year. She probably wouldn't have even went to prison, because you have to serve a year and a day to go to prison. So she probably would have just done county time and, potentially just done 6 months. Who knows? They could have stayed half of it. They offered her that in the beginning, and she refused it because she refuses to take responsibility for her actions. And then they got the text stream data. And unfortunately, they trusted the defense expert to be honest with them, which was obviously a mistake. These people in Massachusetts really trust other attorneys, apparently, that, give them every reason not to. And they didn't get all the data, but what they got gave them 24 miles per hour, 75% acceleration, throwing the car. She was driving forward and then stopped and then threw it into reverse, pedal to the metal, ran into him. And again, bells and whistles are going off when you're in a Lexus or pretty much any newer car. They have these alarm systems to let you know if you're getting too close to something. So she had all kinds of bells and whistles going off. She didn't not know that she hit him. She knew that she hit him. And I love Kevin. I love his coverage. I love that he is not emotional like I am about this stuff, but it drives me crazy that he's still making excuses for her. Like, she maybe didn't know. We don't know that she knew. It's like, Kevin, you're a logical person. You like to look at data and facts. I get that. But here's the data and the facts. Like, if you can't make this jump to, like, there's no way in hell this woman hit a man and didn't know it, I don't know what you, like, apparently he needs a videotape of her doing it, but that's not the real world. People get convicted of crimes all of the time. There's been a lot of talk comparing it to Scott Peterson. We don't know when, where, how Scott killed Lacey and her baby, but he is serving the rest of his life in prison because you put circumstantial evidence together and it paints a picture. She had every reason in the world to know that she hit him. You don't throw your car into reverse and do that without having a negative intention. And then all the bells and whistles going off, and then literally within 10 minutes, I don't even think it was that long. I think she started calling him already when she was leaving. She wasn't even back to his place yet. She was calling him, if I remember correctly. I don't have the timeline completely memorized, but it was not long. She's screaming at him, calling him a pervert, telling him she hates him, and that nobody knows where he's at. She's saying this on his voicemail 10 minutes after she dropped him off and hit him. So let's pretend for a minute that Karen didn't know that she hit him. She dropped him off 10 minutes previous to this, and she's saying nobody knows where you're at, John? Really? Did you ask anybody where he's at? Did you call anybody to find out if he's over at Fairview? Did you call Jen? Did you call Higgins? You had Higgins' number. Like, hello, people. This is not difficult. This is a very, very easy case. It's domestic violence. And this is what I've been screaming at the top of my lungs when I first started my channel, is the fact that people don't want to recognize that women can be just as awful, if not more awful, than men when it comes to criminality and psychopathy. Now, it's not as common, but I mean, go to any news channel and see who's in the news for crimes. It's mostly women these days, and it's pretty horrendous shit. So why is it okay that, all these other people, all these other women, it's like, yeah, they're all guilty, but for some reason Karen Read is not, when she's clearly a psychopath? I don't get it. I don't get how she's fooled so many people. I mean, she does have a mask, but she doesn't have a good one. And the way she acts in court and the things that she says, like, once these interviews came out, and I'm still watching people like Nurse Kim defend her, it's like, oh my God, you think that that's normal? That's not normal. That's not normal, Nurse Kim. No, it's not. Having those kinds of reactions to feel like, in the beginning she was saying that Peggy O'Keefe gave her a dirty look and gave her a vibe, and she just felt uncomfortable, so she had to leave. This is another one of my main points. If that was me, and my 2-year boyfriend or long-term boyfriend or husband was killed, and if I was legitimately innocent, and maybe my mother-in-law was like, what the fuck, what happened, why did you leave him there, what's going on, tell me. Like, she could be pissed at me, she could punch me in the face, and you know what, I wouldn't leave. I would let her, because I love the family of the person that I love. So if they are grieving and I'm grieving, and like we're all going through hell, you really think that it's normal to just tuck tail and get the hell out of there because they just gave you a bad vibe? That's not normal. And if you think that that's normal, please call somebody you trust that doesn't know about this case and ask them if that's normal. It's not normal. There's so many red flags. So many red flags. But people were caught up in this way too early. And they got tricked. So I want to hear Emily D. Baker. I'm going to see what she says. Melanie, I just couldn't take it anymore. But I wanted to see how she summarized the day. So, and then I need to go feed my fur babies. My little one is climbing all over me. So let me see here where she does the summarization. Okay, I just want to see what she says, because at least I was told that she AJ out for some kind of bullshit today, but because
none of them existed. So wait,
what? Okay, I'm gonna have to see this too, Arca.
What? We're a swoop, and we're going to try to back that. This is not specific to this judge, by the way. This is specific to almost every judge I know. That their orders being disregarded piss them off the most. Let's try. At the end of day 1 of the Karen Read case, we got a witness and a half in opening statements, and then more fighting over the ARCA witnesses. We have had multiple hearings regarding discovery from the ARCA witnesses. The ARCA witnesses, you will remember, and if you are new to this case, I will tell you now. The ARCA witnesses are a engineering firm. They do biomedical back.
Okay, she's gonna not tell you the truth. So, on the off chance that somebody that has been brainwashed, who is starting to realize that they've been lied to, if you happen to hear this, I'm going to tell you the truth about what's going on with ARCA. Karen Read and her attorney, David Yannetti, walked into Josh Levy's office. We don't know exactly what the connection was. There are lots of connections with regard to Karen's father and Yannetti and Rachel Rollins and Yannetti and Levy, and there's all these tenuous political things. And I'm not from Massachusetts, so I don't know that. Plus, I don't want to get into politics. I know just enough to understand what the fuck happened here, okay? So they walk into his office, and for some reason, they think, they had no evidence to prove what they were claiming, that this was some big conspiracy, but for some reason, Josh Levy was like, okay, we're going to open up this investigation. Okay, now, I don't believe that Josh Levy is stupid enough to open up a criminal investigation into a murder of somebody walking into your, like, if I got charged with murder, do you think I could walk into my local U.S. attorney office? No. So clearly, there's some kind of shady shit already for her to be able to walk into this office and get this meeting. Okay? And then for him to open an investigation. And there's no evidence. There's zero evidence. This is what we heard happened. We have suspicions from this gravelly voice of this unnamed witness who was Steve Scanlon, which I don't know if we're ever going to know the full truth about it. He's on the witness list, so hopefully we'll get more of the truth, and hopefully he's honest about fucking the criminal actions of Yannetti and Jackson on the stand, because that's going to be more evidence against them to pursue criminal charges against them. Anyway, so they open this up. Somehow ARCA was paid by them for something. I'm still not sure if they were already in contract for something else with the U.S. Attorney's Office, but they were contracted with them. They paid them a small amount of money, like, wasn't small. I mean, I think it was like $12,000 or something. And the very moment that they testified, and Josh Levy kept this investigation open just as a way to keep the suspicion, because if people hear that, that's why most of us were like, oh, the feds are investigating? Oh, there's something going on here, right? Like, that gets everybody's attention. So that was the whole thing. They investigated, they didn't find jack shit except some mean texts from Proctor. That is it. That is all they found. And they just left it open because that's what they can do, to just say it's an ongoing investigation. All you have to do is just not close it. But the investigating was over. They'd done a grand jury. Josh Levy questioned these witnesses. Josh Levy himself fed information to Karen Read and her attorneys about when witnesses were going to be doing testimony at the grand jury. They were then stalked by Turtle Boy. They were terrorized. Josh Levy goes and questions them with Turtle Boy News, which Turtle Boy is literally reporting the shit that Karen Read and Jackson and Yannetti are telling him. And then they're turning around and walking into court as if they don't know Turtle Boy. And they're saying, this is what's being reported in the media. So the information that they tell Turtle Boy to report, Turtle Boy then reports, and then they turn around, bring it into court and say that this was reported in the media, but at this point, nobody knew that they were in direct conversation with Turtle Boy. Nobody in the legal realm knew. The lawyers didn't know yet. There were suspicions, but nobody had proof yet. There's proof now. And when Turtle Boy finally got arrested, he pretended like, that's totally normal. She's just a source. That's what journalists do. No, that's not normal. You don't speak to a murder defendant and get fed information and not do any research and not actually look into it and just report it as facts and then have some behind the scenes bullshit where you're hiding your relationship with this defense team and they're using your reporting to say it's fact because it's been reported. Like, the whole thing is just complete dirty, rotten fraud. And then they get all these YouTube creators to do all of this shit and they're making bank off of this. Emily D. Bakers, Melanie Little, all these people are making so much money off of this fraud. And I'm sure that there's embezzlement going on. The Roccos, I'm sure, will probably be charged. They just continue to do the shit, though. Like, they just don't seem to care that there's going to be repercussions. It's so odd to me. Anyway, the whole relationship with ARCO is very strange. As soon as they testified in court for trial number 1, to people that use critical thinking, to people that understand how the court system works, it was so obvious that they were biased. It was so obvious that their testimony was bullshit. Like, they testified to the fact that that the car didn't hit John and John didn't hit the car, right? Like, this was an absolute for them. And Adam Lally says, well, did you look at the text stream data? Did you know there was DNA on the inside of the housing of the taillight? Inside. So it has to be broken in order to get your DNA inside, okay? So, and they don't want to see the text stream data. For those of you who are curious enough to actually find the truth now, I challenge you to go on your internet and type in ARCA and find out what they're experts in. Guess what they're experts in? Text stream. They didn't accept any discovery from the Commonwealth. They tried to reach out to ARCA. They wanted to give them discovery. ARCA would not accept discovery. Josh Levy would not accept discovery. Josh Levy picked and chose, along with, I'm sure, Jackson and Yannetti, and Read all had a little powwow to decide what to send them. I mean, it's like, probably, if you're an expert in text stream data, you probably want to look at the text stream data. But they didn't get it. They didn't ask for it. They wouldn't accept it. Okay. And then when Lally says, well, if you were given more information, would this help you? Do you think that this might make a difference? Nope. Doesn't change anything. I don't need to see the car. I don't need to see the data. I don't need to see the damage. I don't need to see the autopsy. I don't need to see the medical reports. I don't need any of that shit. Because my job is to come in here with a suit on, with my PhDs, and fool all of these people who don't care to actually find the truth and just want to believe that Karen is innocent for any number of reasons. I don't know. There are so many different reasons that I think people have hopped onto this. And everybody that wants to believes it. And people that are like critically looking at this are like, what the fuck is going on? These people aren't professional. They're supposed to be unbiased. Like, it's so obvious. How did Jackson have all that information about? He started rattling off all these things that Dr. Wolf was a part of this and a member of that and a committee member of this and that. And it's like, how do you know all? Like, he just rattling off so much shit that just like know all from a resume, right? Like, they're not supposed to be in communication. They weren't supposed to be in communication at all. There's a federal protective order on it. The only time they were supposed to be in communication was to set up their testimony, meaning, we need you to testify on Monday. We're going to get you this flight. You're coming in here to your hotel. They're not supposed to be discussing testimony. They're not supposed to be discussing the facts of the case. They're not supposed to be discussing anything because they're supposed to have done this independent investigation. I'm at the point now that I don't even he's talking about shooting a potato launcher. Like, they built this cannon and he thought it was so cool. And I'm looking at this guy with a PhD sitting on the stand talking about building a potato launcher. And I'm like, what in the actual fuck are you doing that for? Who told you to do that? Like, what does this have to do with the price of tea in China? I'm like, this makes no sense. But all the people that are FKR want to believe Karen is innocent for any number of reasons. They're like, yeah, they're so credible. They're PhDs. Yeah, they're qualified, but they clearly are not credible in their testimony. They're clearly lying. I'm convinced now that they actually didn't do anything. I think that they just wrote a report. I haven't been able to see this report, but from what I've gathered, there's no indication of who did what testing. There's no indication of why this third person that was mentioned in this report didn't get called to testify, which is very curious. So I'm hoping Brennan sheds some light on that information. I'm sure they'll just lie on the stand, though, because they clearly have no problem doing that. But Brennan has them by the balls. I'm honestly pretty surprised that they're going to come in for voir dire. Like, I'm surprised that they're going to even try to continue this sham. Like, it's obvious. People that are in on the con are telling you that this is normal. Anybody that knows what is going on with a critical brain knows that they're breaking the law. They're literally breaking the law. So, it's not like there's not going to be repercussions to these people. They don't want you to think that. They're just gaslighting you. They're pretending like everything is normal and they're totally in the right? Not true. So then Hank gets some of this information exposed. I'm not sure if Leah Foley, I've heard good things. I've heard that she wants to, make this right. Her hands are kind of tied, but I think however Hank's getting some information, he's got some information, and he brought it to the court's attention that they have committed fraud. Again, this was a huge day for those of us that actually give a shit about justice and give a shit about these victims. That was a huge day in court. And nobody in the media to this day has spoken on it in the mainstream media. Nobody. And all of these YouTube creators ignore it and pretend like it was all because Brennan said that he got these emails from the FBI and they didn't come from the defense. That is a mistake that he made, that he did correct. But that is not why Judge Cannoni had a nervous breakdown. That is not why she was so pissed. She was pissed because when Hank exposed that, Yes, Jackson gave him those emails or that communication, whatever it was that he did get from Jackson, but Jackson gave that to him because he knew that he was busted. Whoever, I'm thinking that Arca, he knows he's on to us. Like, there's no running away from this anymore. So, I mean, he knew. He knew that he was busted. So, the fact that he didn't get it from the feds really does not matter. That's not a big deal. Because if he didn't get it from Jackson, he would have gotten it from the feds or from Arca. He was right on his tail. Okay, so literally everybody that's pushing this conspiracy makes it about that. It is not about that. It is about the fact that they committed fraud. It is about the fact that they were clearly in communication with Arca. It is about the fact that Dr. Wolf literally told Jackson, if you want me to change any of my testimony, tell me what, where, and how, and I'll do it. If this doesn't sound good, tell me what you want here. He wrote the questions for Jackson to ask him. So that gave me the answer to how did Jackson know all of these questions and this information that he started rattling off as soon as Dr. Wolf got on the stand. How does he know all of that stuff to be able to say, well, now I found out because Dr. Wolf is the one that fucking wrote it for him and gave it to him. He wrote the questions. This is not normal practice, folks, okay? Now, to take that a step further and to say that they are independent witnesses, they were hired by the DOJ. That is true. But at this point, they were not contracted with the DOJ. They all knew, it was understood, it's probably not going to be written anywhere, but as stupid as they've been and as bold as they've been and as brash as they've been, it very well could be. Because they literally really took all of these actions with impunity. They never thought they were going to get busted. They thought that they were kings of the world. I'm sure that this was not Jackson's first rodeo with innocence fraud. I mean, look at the people that he's defended and how he's defended them. He blackmails people on the regular with phone data. So, I mean, it's really disgusting. I really don't know how, it's just, it makes me feel like I need to just literally be in the shower when I think about what he does every day. Like, it's gross. So he tells them that, he tells the whole world that they're unbiased, they're hired by the feds, right? So this is why everybody in the media is like, well, they're independent. But for none of them to have a brain to think and say, this is what their testimony does. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why are they testifying to this? What does this prove for or against anything? And how do they come to the conclusion? Like, if you've ever taken a math class or a science class since kindergarten, you know that your teachers say, show your work. You're not going to get credit unless you show your work. They're just coming in here and saying there's no way this could have happened because we built a potato launcher and the glass broke the taillight at such and such a speed. Guess what? You didn't need to figure out the speed. If you would have got the tech stream data, they would have given you the speed. So this is like, what the fuck are you doing? So the whole thing it's a lie. It's a total lie. And when, Josh Levy was, he knew he was leaving the office and he got out of there as quick as he could without dealing with this. None of it. He still wouldn't talk to John's family. And at that point, that is when the defense paid Arca $24,000 or something. Okay, first of all, folks, that is not a normal amount of money for two people to come and give testimony for one day. That is a lot of money. If they're trying to say that that's literally just testimony. I mean, you know how many people could literally go, I could be a dog expert. I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm going to go get Chloe. I'm going to bring her to the court and we're going to bust in and have our Perry Mason moment so that I can clear her name with her. Fuck, if I could make $24,000 and fly to Massachusetts and talk about how this was not hot dog bites, that would be brilliant. This is not a normal amount of money for one day of testimony. Even if you have 6 PhDs, it's abnormal. Again, don't trust me. Go research. ask somebody that you do trust. It is not normal, okay? But also, furthermore, the problem with this is, and Julie Grant is the one person that literally speaks the truth. She's the one person that I have respect for in the mainstream media. I wish she'd dig a little bit more, though. I wish she'd expose the whole truth. I really, really do. Because I'm pretty sure she knows. I just don't know what the situation is. Maybe she's waiting for it to come out in court. Because she knows Hank Brennan's on it. But here's the thing. If you hire an expert, right, like the defense is going to hire their reconstructionist. They're going to, or the Commonwealth hires their reconstructionist. They're going to pay him. They paid him to do all of the work that he did, and they will pay him to give testimony and to come and fly and eat and all of the stuff when he's giving testimony. All of that is normal. The thing that's not normal is hiding the fact that you're communicating with them and paying them and portraying to the public that they are unbiased, that you didn't hire them, that you haven't had any communication with them, that you have no say over what their testimony is when the fucking guy is saying, if you want me to change anything, let me know. Like, I mean, if this isn't obvious to people, I just don't know. My head is gonna just fucking explode with this shit. It makes me crazy. It's so scary to me that so many people have turned a blind eye. So many people have been taking advantage of good-hearted people who literally think that they're fighting for an innocent woman, and all they're doing is being used and abused. And all of these people that you trust to tell you the truth are using and abusing and lying to you. And they're laughing all the way to the bank when they go on their vacations and they go to their concerts and they buy new clothes and they go to like, everything that they're doing is on your dime. You know why? Because they're lying to you and you're paying them to do it. So no, it's totally acceptable if the defense wants to hire ARCA and say, these are our crash reconstructionists. This is what they did. Here's our work. Here's what we did, how we did, why we did. Here's the conclusions that we made. And this is how we came to these conclusions. And also, as a scientist, I am going to accept any new data. I am never going to turn down data. I am never going to say that more information absolutely could not, would not, absolutely not ever change my mind. Would not affect these outcomes. That is a huge red flag. If anybody in the science medical field ever says that kind of shit, really any field, if you're getting more information, you have to at least analyze it to see if it would make a difference. And then you look at what they didn't get and you look at what they do. I mean, these people in ARCA are literally, this is how they make their bones, is litigation. So they literally are hired guns. I mean, that is typically what they do. But beyond that, they are not supposed to be in communication with the defense. They are not supposed to be getting paid by the defense. They are representing to the court and the public that they are unbiased. They've had no communication. And they've lied about it over and over and over and over again. And they want to bitch about Sally Port video that literally has nothing to do with Dawn's murder. They have footage of when they loaded up her car the morning of. They have a beautiful fucking footage of when the officer went to do a wellness check at John's house on the niece. I mean, and people like Melanie Little and the lawyer, and these people, they're just like, I don't see it. What are we seeing? I just think that's snow. Like, the whole fucking taillight's missing. And they're like, I don't see it. It's like, they literally pretend like they don't see shit. This is what gaslighting is. They make you think you're crazy because if you see that red is missing, you're like, well, clearly I must be looking at it wrong because I trust this person and they're a lawyer and they have credentials and they're a PhD, right? So they're not going to lie to me. Wrong. You need to trust but verify. And when people show you who they are, I really hope that there's a lot of canceling done. Like, I'm not a cancel culture, but the shit that I've seen happening here, I hope and pray that all of the people that have been taken advantage of by this fucking disgusting cult, I hope that you punish them by just disappearing, not giving them your money, letting other people know that they're lying, fraudulent assholes, so that nobody else gets tricked. Because that's another huge reason why I'm here. It breaks my heart. I know that a lot of these people literally are doing what they think is right in their heart. And they think that because they've been lied to by all of these people that they're supposed to be able to trust because they have law degrees and PhDs, and they think that they're smarter than them. They must be telling them the truth. They're not. They're not telling you the truth. And they're doing it intentionally. Just like Judge Cannoni has called them out in open court now twice and said it. Is anybody in mainstream media going to be reporting on this tonight? Is anybody in mainstream media going to address the fact that once again, Judge Cannoni said, I found that you made false representations to the court and that you did it intentionally and you did it several times. And you're standing in front. I mean, she didn't say part, but this is what I would have added. Is standing in front of me right now doing the same fucking thing. You're still lying to me. You're digging in further. Like, you think I'm stupid? Like, I know what's going on here. They put on the show for the public that they have bamboozled, for the public that they're gaslighting. And then the people that critically think, all of us get called crazy and stupid and whatever. And we're the people that give a shit about all the people that are being taken advantage of. The whole reason that we're even covering this anymore is because we care about the people that they're taking advantage of and we're trying to help. But they don't want to hear it. They think that we're crazy and we're liars and we're grifters. We're not making any money. I'm not making any money on this. I'm doing this because it scares me. I care about people. I care about society. And this is not good. So, all of the discovery that ARCA has not given them or that the defense has not given the Commonwealth is material. And they can scream and yell and cry that they don't have anything all they want. It's not true. And I'm going to say that I'm 75% sure that Hank has some fucking evidence that he can pull out when he's got these assholes on the stand and say, oh, really? Well, what is this? What is this then? What does this mean? Help me understand this. And they're going to be backpedaling and trying. I mean, this is going to be an all day. This is going to be Friday. Bring your popcorn because it's going to get fucking rowdy in that courtroom. And I'm here for it. So I want to see what Emily says here. I really need to probably get off of this live because I have to go feed my pups. But I'm going to probably go on with Twisted Tragedies, sometimes for court. I get so overwhelmed with this because I have no problem lying. All of these creators just sit and lie. They just lie. And it's so gross. And then to watch mainstream media do the same shit. It
was provided in a dump of discovery to the defense and the prosecution from the federal government. What government? What?
Wait, I gotta see this.
A remedy for that. Let's see if I can back this up a little bit. Let's see if we can back that. That was a lot of energy. Let's see if we can back that up just a little bit. We're gonna swoop, and we're going to try to back that. This is not specific to this judge, by the way. This is specific to almost every judge I know. That their orders being disregarded piss them off the most. Let's try. At the end of day one of the Read case, we got a witness and a half in opening statements, and then more fighting over the ARCA witnesses. We have had multiple hearings regarding discovery from the ARCA witnesses. The ARCA witnesses, you will remember, and if you are new to this case, I will tell you. The ARCA witnesses are a engineering firm. They do biomechanical engineering. They testified in the first trial. There was also a voir dire before the first trial. They had a report that was provided in a dump of discovery to the defense and the prosecution from the...
Let me just say, too, I see that I have people in here. This is like a PSA. It's public service announcement. I really want people to know that there are people in this world that care and that want to help the good people that have been tricked, that have been gaslit, that have been lied to for 3 years or 2 years or 1 year, however long you've been in this, you're lied to. I want you to know that. And I can't read the chat because my eyes are really bad and I can't see because I'm on my phone, but I will go and look at it after I hang out. I will respond to you. So please, if you have questions or with the others in the chat, because I can tell you that the people, I mean, I have a very small community on my channel. I'm not a YouTuber. I just literally have been covering this case, but the people that are in my community for this case are loving, good people who just want truth and justice and mercy for this family in this community, and they care. And so I just want to make sure that y'all know that, because I want you to keep chatting. I don't want to discourage you from chatting just because I can't see, because I can go back afterwards and I can reach out and comment and get back to you.
Federal government. Why is this all so fucking crazy? Well, I don't think I've ever seen a case where you have a state prosecution and a federal grand jury investigation going on into a case at the same time. It's wild. And it has caused a shit ton of problems. Why? Because the feds don't give a fuck. The feds don't give a fuck. The feds do not give a fuck about state court. They don't care. They're like, oh, here you go. Fine. Can you call these witnesses? Maybe. When will you get back to us? When we feel like it, if ever. Just whatever. So the defense was allowed to call ARCA in the first trial after a voir dire. What does that mean? It means there was a day when the witnesses came in and testified under oath outside the presence of the jury to fix the discovery issue. Hey, prosecution, ask whatever you want. Here's your discovery. Discover it now. Discover. And there was one report.
Okay, here's the problem with that. This is why Hank Brennan is at the end of his rope with this shit. If we don't, and I say we like I'm part of the Commonwealth, okay? So if I say that, that's what I mean. It's not me being egotistical. It's just that I'm on that side, okay? So Brennan asks for discovery, like Lally did in the first trial, over and over and over again. And all he gets is this report that doesn't tell him who did what was done, how they came to this conclusion. It listed a list of things that were given to them, but there was no, like, this is what we did, this is how we came to this conclusion, this is who did this testing, this is who did, there's none of that. From what I gather, I haven't seen the report, but based on what I've been able to pick out of things that Lally has said in court and Brennan has said in court, this is what they were given, okay? So the Commonwealth was under the assumption that this was the only communication that the defense had with them too, is just this document, right? So they're all like, okay, well, these are their conclusions, but I don't know how they came to these conclusions, and I don't know why they would make a potato launcher to throw a car or to throw a glass at the vehicle. That's not anybody's assessment of what's going on here. It's not even what the Commonwealth was alleging happened. So why did you do that? Why did you? And we're being told that they got paid like $500,000 or something. Another one of Karen's lies, like astronomical amounts of money. And I'm like, that was another big thing. I'm like, so Massachusetts government paid, the taxpayers paid these assholes $500,000 to make a potato launcher, and all of the people, like, I'm like screaming this into a big black void because all of the people are like, yeah, because she's innocent. Like, that doesn't make sense. That makes sense to all of you? That really, like, that checks out in your brain that that's totally logical, that they would spend $500,000 on these people to build a potato launcher for no good apparent reason? Okay? It's asinine. So what Emily is not telling you here is that the defense had communication with them. This is what's been exposed. She's going to avoid it. She's not going to be honest with her community about it. She's going to continue gaslighting them, is my guess. She's just saying, yeah, the feds don't care. Yeah, and she's not lying about that. But if they found anything in their investigation that exonerated Karen, they are, by law, have to give that over. And that is how they got Michael Proctor's private communications, which I hope to God Michael Proctor sues the shit out of Josh Levy, Alan Jackson, David Unetti, all of these assholes. I hope to God he does. They have taken that man's life away. He has small children, health insurance. They have upset his whole entire life because their client is a murderer and didn't want to take responsibility for her actions, and they wanted to find somebody to blame because this is how they get people in People don't trust our government. They don't trust our law enforcement. It's a bad time in our society right now. So, we're going to scream government corruption. And therefore, everything that looks bad against Karen it was planted. I mean, that's the whole idea behind using this. The only time people actually, I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen. There are times when people are wrongfully charged, which is why I even watched the beginning of this trial, because I thought there was a good chance she might have been. I literally did. I don't trust our government, clearly, okay? So I'm not saying, but to sit and blame everything, like, these are bad facts. You cannot blame them on Michael Proctor. He got pissed off because she killed her cop boyfriend, and he called her a cunt. If anybody's ever going to be called a cunt, I think it's after you murder your boyfriend would be an appropriate time. I think that's an appropriate time, if ever, okay? So, yeah, they don't care, but they would have to tell them to do a voir dire without knowing who did what, why they did it, how they came to these conclusions. Doesn't give them any more ammunition. Lally does. Here's the thing. If you have never bought a house before, for example, and you're looking at houses, right? And you're going to all these houses and you're like, well, I don't really know what questions to ask. And after you buy the house, you start having plumbing problems and water problems, and the roof is, having issues and all these. Then you're like, shit, I didn't even know to ask these questions until I bought my first house. And now I know what to ask the next time. Okay, it's the same kind of thing. You don't know what you don't know until you don't know it, right? So the only time that they're going to be able to understand what they could even ask. As far as Lally knew, he didn't know that the defense was having communication with Arca. So he's like, I don't even understand what the hell they're going to call him for. The judge said, you're going to call these people, you've never had a communication with them. They lied to her face over and over and over again. Nope, never communicated, totally independent, never had conversations with them. Clearly lying. That's fraud. Okay? Now, if they wanted to claim these, they honestly, she might have been hopped on this shit, and they're like, yeah, this is totally normal that their testimony, like, they made a potato launcher, but they're PhDs, so, we totally trust them. They're saying there's no way that this person got hit by a car, so we trust them? Go look up accidents, okay? Go look it up. Go see how many pedestrian strikes have the same injuries over and over and over again. Different variables, different cars, different types, different speeds, different bodies, different everything, right? And then go look up reverse. Go look up how many people you can find that have been in pedestrian strikes where somebody threw their car into reverse and sideswiped them. Go see. And then come let me know what you find. Because these injuries are not consistent with a normal pedestrian strike, because this isn't a normal this isn't like a common strike. This isn't something that happens. Most people that get hit by a car get hit, they're forward facing. They get thrown up onto the hood and over the car. Okay, that's the normal way that pedestrian strikes typically happen. Probably 95% at least. But on top of that, there are so many variables, you cannot say with certainty that this body did not get hit by the car and this car did not hit this body. You cannot say that to a scientific certainty like that. And if you're going to be so bold as to do that, you better show me how the fuck you came to that conclusion. Because if you're going to get up on the stand and make some kind of bold-ass statement like that and then say that you don't need any more evidence and that any more evidence has no ability to sway your opinion on that, you're a lying sack of shit. And I really hope that the American people learn from this sociological experiment. This has really been a social experiment. And I really hope that people wake up and realize, I need to think more critically. I need to trust but verify. I need to do my own research. I need to look into this. I need to understand how these people do investigations. The shit that they're bitching about with the whole, like, evidence collection and stuff with the solo cups and the leaf blower and shit. You know, I don't like Brandy Churchwell. She's a lying sack of shit, too. But she just did an interview on the new channel that she was a party. I don't know. She's with some other chick now on some jury something channel. And I watched this interview because she had a police officer. Like, I think he got some award for being, like, you know, I can't remember if it was like top 10 officers or something, like a prestigious award. And I encourage you all to watch that video. Hopefully she still has it up. I think I saw it like right after she uploaded it, and I'm just curious. I hope it's still up, because that person that she interviewed was saying, like, look, this is a small town. There's so many variables. They don't normally do the crime scene investigation. They normally call the state police in, but because of the blizzard, they knew that the state police were not going to be able to get there for several hours, and they're looking at blood in the snow as it's blizzarding, and they're trying to preserve what evidence they can. It's blizzarding. Okay? And they don't have collection cups because they're not the CSI guys. They're not the people that do the crime scene investigations. They're just not. So they don't have that. Now, they did the audit. They're going to get some of those supplies. So if they ever are in this position again, they have some shit so that they're never stuck using solo cups again. They also talked about the leaf blower, as I've been saying for the last year or two that I've been following this. It's brilliant. I'm an artist, and I'm always I used to paint houses for a living, and I'm always using my brain like, well, what if I don't have this to do this? I'm trying to come up with different things that I can use to get a job done, right? Like, I need this end result. I don't have this tool. How am I going, like, I need a hammer and nail it, but I don't have a hammer. So I'm going to find something that has strength enough that is going to hammer and nail in, that I'm not going to hurt myself or the object, and I'm going to be able to get the job done, right? So, like, you have to be able to think like that. It was ingenious, and the audit people said that. But the people in FKR and all these lying liars on YouTube tell you that the audit found all these problems. No, they said, you know, that you need more training in this because you don't have murders very often. I mean, the last murder was 25 years ago, let's be honest. So you're not typically investigating them if you were to have them. But you do need to be prepared when things like this happen. So let's get you some supplies, let's get you some training. You know, there obviously was things that they could improve, just like everybody, and everybody should want to improve. And according to these auditors, these officers were all about constructive criticism. They want to do their job well. And they have been terrorized by their community. Like, they're evil. And it's like, these people care about you and their community. They care about you. And you're doing everything in your power to make them seem like some evil entity when their whole job is to protect and serve. And based on what I've seen just in watching this trial, the people there care. Now, are there bad cops? Yes. Are there bad teachers? Yes. Are there bad lawyers? Yes. Are there bad daycare providers? Yes. Are there bad politicians? Yes. Everything. There are bad people. Humans can be very bad. But every human has control over their own choices each and every day. If you're going to do something shitty, you can stop doing that shitty thing at any given time. It's only up to you. So to just completely, the whole thing is so sad. Like, this whole community has just lost.
They did discovery in the voir dire. They got to figure out who did what with who. But there were limits on what could be asked because at that time there was an ongoing federal investigation. So they couldn't ask what information you got because it was from the feds, and that's sealed. They couldn't say, what were you asked?
But the thing is this was the lie. There was no investigation anymore. This was Josh Levy, and there's texts that's going to come out, if not in this trial, in Turtle Boy's trial, where there's texts. I mean, some of the texts were revealed in court documents, and the mainstream media still didn't report on it. From David Yannetti to Turtle Boy, communications with them. Like, come the fuck on, people. Josh Levy left it open. He was literally on the phone with Jackson and Yannetti, I don't know, 2 weeks before trial, telling them to try to get it postponed because he was still trying to, why he wanted to make sure this murderer went free is beyond me, but that's what his goal was, to help these assholes. And, so the investigation was over. The grand jury had been over for a year by the time this trial happened. Like, this is the trick. And this is the lie. So,
to determine. Now, it's from a fence. It's sealed. So there was a lot of information that you couldn't get into for either side. The defense represented to the court numerous times. We didn't hire ARCA. We didn't retain ARCA. We have not communicated or prepped ARCA. We just talked to them about scheduling. And the court's like, for real though? You're going to call witnesses that you've never had testified before. And the defense was like, yep. We sure are. And I was like, well, I mean, from my experience working at the DA's office in Los Angeles, there are times you do put witnesses up on the stand that you have not had to talk to, and all you have is a report. You know what? We're in trial now. So does this shock me? It's unusual. The whole fucking thing's unusual. And that's what the defense represented in the court. We've only talked to them about scheduling. Between that trial and this trial, more discoveries come forward that, in fact, the defense paid ARCA over $24,000 for their time, for their testimony, for their topic. Is that a huge issue? No. Is not disclosing it a huge issue? Yes. And
yes. Okay. Thank you. She's being honest about this part, at least. Okay. So it is a big issue that they paid them because they didn't disclose it. You cannot split those two down the middle and say it's not bad that they paid them, because the reason that it's bad that they paid them is because they were representing that they were not biased, they were independent, they had no communication with them. That is why it matters that they paid them. That's the whole fucking reason, because the whole thing was a fraud. And I honestly don't think that they actually did any actual scientific experiments. I literally don't believe it, because I can't believe that they would build a potato launcher for the purpose of maybe they went and bought a potato launcher and strapped a Lexus taillight in a vice grip and did some experiments. But for them to build one, like, go buy a potato launcher. I don't get it. So she's being honest about the fact that they paid them is, she's saying it's not a problem, but the fact that they didn't disclose it is the problem. But like I said, you can't split the two. The two of them, this is what FKR does too. Like, they want to pull out one little part of this and make that a big deal, while all of the rest of this shit is so important. You can't just pull out. They're cherry picking shit constantly. It's the whole thing. You have to look at it in its entirety. The problem is they were not independent. The problem is they were in communication and they were being paid, and the defense had full autonomy over their testimony. I mean, they literally told Jackson that they would say anything that they wanted him to say. Those are not experts. Those are paid hired guns. The same shit that the defense and all of these YouTube creators are constantly accusing the Commonwealth of doing is literally what the defense is doing. That is what gaslighting is doing. It's DARVO. DARVO. Defend, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. That's what they do. That's gaslighting. This is what cult leaders do. This is how abusive, what's the word I'm looking for? Coercively controlling relationships work. This is why Turtle Boy and Karen Reed and Melanie Little and these types of people are so good at it, because that's their personalities. They're bullies.
the defense said, this all came up afterwards and we had no idea that we were going to be charged for it. Can that be true? Yeah. Because the defense are like, why are we paying them to fly? We're not paying them to fly down there. And ARCA's like, we don't just go places for free, so somebody has to pay for it. Whether it's the feds, whether it's you, I don't care who pays for it, somebody's paying for it. And that was in July after the first trial that was paid.
And Emily knows $24,000 is not a typical amount of money that you would pay for somebody to fly to Massachusetts and give testimony for a day and leave. That's fucking bullshit, and she knows it. So she's walking the line here. She's trying to still be somewhat honest, but she's still lying enough that she's like, it's all good though. Like, it's just a little boo-boo. It's just a little boo-boo. It's just, put a Band-Aid on it. It's fine. No, this is like probably hopefully you will never see this again in the rest of your life, or in the rest of your children's lives, or in the rest of your grandchildren's lives, because this kind of behavior is going to break our American justice system. And the fact that all of these fucking attorneys that took oaths, that went to law school because they love the law, that are jumping on this innocence fraud that is literally trying to destroy our justice system and betray everything that our country is built upon, makes me want to punch them in the throats, because they are the ones that should care the most about what these other practicing attorneys are doing. But no, they're just allowing it to happen and jumping on it so that they can make money, because there's a lot of money in innocence fraud. So if you're still listening and you haven't heard of Roberta Glass, please go check out Roberta Glass. She's got YouTube. I watch her on YouTube or listen to her on YouTube. Sure, she's on other podcasts. But she literally has a whole channel devoted to innocence fraud. I am a bleeding heart person. I am extremely compassionate and empathetic. I want to believe the good in everybody. And I would not be on this internet calling out these assholes for being assholes and bitches and cunts if they weren't. If I didn't do my due diligence, I would not be saying the shit I'm saying. The shit doesn't make me popular. It's not going to make me money. Like, I want to help our world see through the bullshit, because this is the kind of shit that's going to cause tyranny in America. This is the kind of shit that our government is going to do to us to start instigating dictatorship in America. Like, this is what they do. They start doing these fucking brainwashing things to see what kind of shit that they can get away with, and how far down they can push people to break, to just say, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. This is scary. This is scary. And it should piss everybody off. And it should make everybody stand up and say, fuck you. You took an oath to the law. You're sitting here telling me that you love the law. And you're lying to my face about how this shit works. You're lying to my face about how these attorneys are operating. You're lying to my face, villainizing really good people and putting a murderer and a fraudster and a just awful human beings up on pedestals as if they can do no wrong. It's disgusting.
But it was not disclosed to the prosecution in this case. When that came forward, the court was like, what is happening? What do you mean you paid for it? It was represented by the defense multiple times that you did not retain ARCA. But you paid for that. Well, part of the issue is they didn't retain ARCA, but they did pay for ARCA after ARCA came and testified. And the court's like, I can't believe you didn't have any conversations with them to set an expectation of when they would be paid. And it became a huge issue with the court about what Jackson represented to her about payment to ARCA. And the court was furious. But the feds retained ARCA to do the report. The defense paid ARCA afterwards for their travel, for their time, etc. So is that paying expenses? Is that retaining them? Should they have disclosed it? Yes. And that's what made the court so mad. Because they said, no, we didn't pay for ARCA, but you did pay ARCA. And so that spiraled into Brennan saying, we don't have all the discovery. And the defense saying, you have what we have. You have the same report we have. So the prosecution is now alleging again that they've been sandbagged, and that this is an ambush, and that ARCA is now doing new testing and bringing up new information. And the court's recent discovery order wasn't complied with because the defense was ordered to turn over all their communications, text messages, etc. Because the court previously found that those communications with the experts were not disclosed. So the court found that previous Rule 14, that discovery violation.
And it shocks me that so many people believe this shit. They are going to believe because Emily D. Baker and Melanie Little and the lawyer and these assholes are on here saying, and fucking Carl Steinbeck are saying that this prosecutor is just evil and he's trying to blame an innocent woman and he's not, there's no evidence of that. Do you honestly think that Hank Brennan is going to come over, leave his defense practice, commit his year or two or however, he's probably, honestly, if he does what I'm hoping he's going to do, he's going to be hired by Morrissey for at least another year, getting all the rest of this shit figured out with Turtle Boy and Josh Levy and Jackson and Unetti, and I hope to God he brings it all out, because it needs to be brought out. This kind of shit needs to be brought to the light so that our American society can see what happened, can see how it happened, can see how they were fooled, and can see how they can arm themselves to not fall victim to this kind of shit in the future. And so that our American justice system can make the necessary adjustments that it needs to make for lying, cheating, social media people who literally don't give a shit about truth or justice, and they just care about their bottom line and their popularity on their social media platforms. It's disgusting, and it is scary. So, you know, according to Emily here, she's, you know, saying that the prosecution, the Commonwealth is claiming that they're being sandbagged. No, they're being sandbagged. They have literally, what is the one thing that Hank has said from the beginning? You know, and this is why I'm at the end of my rope with Judge Bev. Like, I can't fucking take it anymore. I lost my shit, like, the last time that this came out in court, and she just, like, didn't even, she's like, I'm not going to accept you lying to me anymore. And then 5 seconds later, Jackson gets up and just lies to her, and she just lets him. Like, I can see it, so I know she can see it. She's not stupid. So the fact that she actually fucking put her foot down today, I give her fucking credit for that. But now she's got to hold their feet to the fire. But this is the shit. Emily's going to try to minimize it now. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
And found that to be a willful discovery violation. Like, you're not telling me the shit you need to turn over, and the court ordered then, look, I'm not finding anything beyond a discovery violation, and the solution for that violation is going to be a voir dire. And the prosecution said, look, if they come down for a voir dire to testify, you have to order them to bring their communications. When did the defense hire them? What did the defense ask them to do? What was their directive? Because they're going to fly down here from where the fuck ever and be like, oh, I don't have that, I left it in my office. So, Your Honor, we need an order to turn that all over before they come do the voir dire, and we can't wait until right before they testify. We need to do that voir dire sooner. That's what the prosecution asked for. The court said we'll deal with the voir dire. So this discovery issue came up because the prosecution said in court, look, we watched the uncut footage from the docuseries, and it's clear that there are more communications between the defense and ARCA than what's been disclosed. And Alessi got up and said, we've disclosed it. But we didn't preserve the physical text. Those are from 2 years ago. Though if ARCA was texting back and forth during last trial, that's not from 2 years ago. Oh.
And y'all remember all the shit that Proctor's getting for text messages? Brian Albert or Brian Higgins and Morrissey. They're trying to get Morrissey's text messages. All this shit that's like shit that has nothing to do with Karen Read, but they want to make it about government corruption. So they're making everybody think that all this shit's going on. And they're trying to get everybody's communications so that they can embarrass them like they did Michael Proctor. He got thrown to the wolves. And the fact that the state police and the governor and the mayor allowed that shit to happen, they should all be ashamed of themselves. That shit pisses me off. He's an honorable man. He had no blemishes on his professional record at all. And he got fired for this shit. Trust me, he is going to sue the shit out of some people. I hope to God his lawyers suing these big fish over this shit, because his family deserves, they've been put through hell. Okay, so she's actually telling some truths here though, so I'm here for it.
Leslie said we turned over the substance, but not.
So they're saying we made this document telling you when these texts. Like, I'm sorry, how do you know that if you don't have any of the texts? If your texts disappear, you don't have anything, which means you can't say, well, I texted him 5 times this day and at this day 4 times and this. Like, how are you going to know any of that information? You can't know any of that information. If you know some of that information, then you know all of that information. And they're trying to say that they know some of it, but they don't have the content, right? Which is the important bit. That's the important bit that Hank needs. The content of the communications. Oh yeah, we communicated with him, but we conveniently don't have the content of what that communication was. So you can't prove that I committed a crime here. That's what they're doing. It's disgusting. Not only is it illegal, it's disgusting. And the fact that they're doing it right in front of everybody's eyes, and people are allowing people like Melanie Little and Peter of the lawyer, and Emily D. Baker to minimize this shit, and Vinny, unbelievable.
The actual preserved text messages. We turned over 100 communications plus and told them we had all these text communications. So you can ask them, but you can't say we didn't turn it over. We do not physically have the physical literal text message.
So how do you know that you had 100 text messages and when those were? How do you know that if you don't know what the content was? Can you imagine if this shit was happening on any person? Pull somebody out. Let's say, oh, Jen McCabe, she, or Higgins, since they're going after Higgins, right? Oh, we saw him on the phone at 1 o'clock in the morning, and they are making total hay out of this. Like, this is the end of the world, and he was obviously conspiring to murder his friend, right? Because he's on the phone, and he didn't tell them that. I mean, he was probably checking his voicemail or ordering a pizza or something. Like, nobody knows, but the fact that he didn't tell somebody that he was on the phone when he went to move vehicles at the police station is like, he's obviously a lying murderer because of that. But all of this, none of this matters. They just had all these communications when they're representing to everybody that they were totally independent and they didn't communicate to them. Now it's come to light. Yeah, we did. Not that big of a deal, though. Everybody in the public, we want to make this, not be as big of a deal as it really is. Like, these guys literally should lose their licenses and go to prison. That's how serious this is. So we'll see how far they fall, because this is the end of their careers.
We can't turn over what we don't have. We can't turn over what we don't have. So you can have them on board here. And the court said, I am finding that this is another discovery violation. You did not turn over what I ordered you to turn over. And the defense says, we can't turn over what we don't have. We told you what the conversations were. And then the court brought up the ABA rules, the bar rules. Aren't you required to keep your file for, what did she say, 5 or 7 years, 3 or 5 years, some amount of years? Aren't you required to keep your file for this long? And he said, we are not required to keep the literal text messages. We have a file. And that's what Attorney Little produced, was our sum and substance of our conversation. Which I imagine...
What was that? Just we texted on 5 times on this date? Like, what the fuck kind of bullshit is that? Like, how stupid do they want us to be? I mean, it's one thing to, make the public believe that they're on the up and up, but to say this shit to the judge's face when Hank Brennan is on their ass, like, they know Hank Brennan knows the truth. They know that. They're still gaslighting the shit out of the public, though. So they can't let on that they're screwed. They can't let on that this is a huge deal, because it is. But they're so concerned about their public image that they're continuing to lie in court to the judge over and over and over again. You can't know that you had 100 texts but not know what was in them. If I say, I had 3,000 texts with my brother in the last 3 years, and I give you a list of, I texted him 5 times this day, he texted me back 3 times. Like, how am I going to have any of that information? If I don't have the text, I don't have any of that information. If I have the text, then I can get the information. And if you're supposed to keep your communications, I don't know this rule, but it did get brought up. So if you know some of it, you're going to know all of it. And when they're picking and choosing shit, like at one point, Alessi said that something about 2 years ago, they weren't supposed to be in communication with ARCA. So he just completely fucking exposed that in open court. Is anybody going to talk about that tonight, Vinny?
Looks something like, spoke with ARCA, text call, whatever, scheduled for this time. Spoke with ARCA, provided the Commonwealth's experts. Spoke to ARCA, asked if they were available these dates. I imagine it is a summary of what those conversations were with, like, the resolution and not the back and forth. But I don't know. We haven't seen those yet. But I'm going to look for them before tomorrow. But it's probably sealed. So the court has said, this is a discovery violation. This is all going to come up on Friday. No jury Friday. We are going to hear from ARCA on Friday. And we're going to do a whole day of voir dire, and the prosecution can ask them whatever they want. And that's going to be the resolution of the discovery issue. Fine. Ask them. Bring them in and ask them. But Alessi is saying, look, what the prosecution is representing is not accurate. We turned over what we had, we can't turn over what we don't have.
And he's lying, and Hank knows it. And I hope to God that Hank has all kinds of fucking jokers in his back pocket that he can fucking say, Uno, bitches.
But Alessi also said to the court, you previously asked about emails. We're not talking about text messages, which I think is splitting.
That's bullshit. Communications are communications. And this is the kind of bullshit semantics that liars and cheats do. They said communications. I need all of the communications between all of you, including the defendant, because there were times that I think that there's text messages or information out there somewhere where Karen Read literally spoke with Josh Levy himself. So probably she spoke with ARCA too. They're saying we need all the communications. So now they're going to say, well, we gave you the emails, but nobody asked for text messages. No, Hank Brennan is thorough and he's detail orientated and he asked for communications. So fuck you and fuck off and stop lying.
Here a bit too finally. The court was asking about communications and said turn over all your email. Do you then not say there were also other communications? Have both sides split the hair on discovery in this case? 100%. Is it going to piss the court off more? Yes. But
no. See, this is where she's lying. She continuously, along with these other lying YouTubers, want to make hay about or however long they're asking for it. There's nothing going on there. What is it going to prove? There is the hard data. There is the hard data in this case that proves that Karen Read is guilty. Nothing that Proctor touched. Take all of the evidence out that Proctor touched. Look at the phone data from John's phone and the vehicle text stream data, and you have the actual murder right there, the exact time and place. Just like Brennan said in court the last time before trial, time and place. That's what they have. That proves what happened. You can distrust every police officer in the world and still know that Karen Read is guilty as fuck. And not only is she guilty as fuck, but she has caused absolute chaos to the point of literal mobs in this fucking city. It's disgusting. And all of these fucking people are guilty of the same shit, and they don't take any responsibility for what they've done and how they've enabled this shit to continue. Including Vinnie Politan and other mainstream media and all of these YouTubers that, oh, well, yeah, well, the Commonwealth did this too. I mean, are you 14? Because first of all, no, they didn't. But this is the shit that they do all the time. Like, we're going to call you out on your shit. So then they say, well, the Commonwealth did this too. First of all, like I said, no, they didn't. But they didn't. And this is gaslighting 101. If you have a conversation with somebody where you're saying, look, you did this and it doesn't make me happy, and they turn around and say, well, you did it too, that's not mature or healthy, and it's not going to solve any problems. And this is how they react as mature professional adults. Supposedly, they act like petulant, immature children, where it's like, well, the Commonwealth did it too. So, I mean, if they're not, because they couldn't find Sallyport video, most lawyers get pissed off about, they get flooded with discovery because they send over 65,000 hours of video that have nothing to do with the crime, but they have to sit through it and watch it because it might, right? So it's too much. They didn't fucking send them that because it doesn't fucking prove anything. They had all the other fucking data that they needed. I mean, it's so stupid. They make shit out of nothing. They want to make everything a big deal that is not a big deal to try to minimize their own culpability.
Has anyone asked since the last time the court ordered that to be turned over? No. And the defense said, well, we turned it over and we gave you the summaries. So that's what we got. Here's the thing. What's the practical effect? There was going to be a voir dire anyway. Is the judge mad? Yep, the judge is mad. There was going to be a voir dire anyway. Did it bump up the voir dire? Yes. So a lot of you are asking in the chat, is the defense being penalized? Not more than they were already going to do a voir dire. Are they going to keep out ARCA? No. Are they going to remove any of the defense attorneys? No. Are they going to sanction the defense attorneys? No.
Why is she saying no to sanctioning the defense attorneys? You bet your ass when this trial is over, those attorneys are going to have some comeuppance. Like, there's going to be consequences. And the fact that Emily D. Baker is saying that there's not going to be any consequences to them fucking committing fraud on the court over and over and over again is disgusting. She's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year doing YouTube, lying to you. Lying to you. She knows exactly what the fuck the score is. If I know, you bet your ass she knows. She was a prosecutor with Alan Jackson in the same office. Claims she doesn't know Alan, but, whatevs. But she was a prosecutor. So I'm pretty sure that if I can fucking figure out what's going on here, she knows what's going on here. They are going to, you're not going to see it happen during this trial. She's not kicking out these attorneys because she doesn't want a fucking appeal going through. She wants to put Karen in prison and get this fucking shit dealt with and then deal with the attorneys. She doesn't want any appealable issues, which is why she's given the defense way too much rope. And they're hanging themselves. Is Arca going to testify? Yeah. Is Hank Brennan going to string them up by their toes? You bet your ass. And hope to God they get fucking criminal charges on them too, because this shit is going down.
Ask Arca those questions? Yes. If Arca doesn't have those documents, is she going to make them get it and turn it over? If they exist, yes. But that's what it's going to be. Fix it. Fix it. Turn it over. You guys are asking me if she'll limit their testimony? I don't think so. I think she's going to huff and puff and be good mad. I don't think she's going to limit her testimony. Why? Because of the timeline that Leslie threw out. Because...
yeah, I don't think she's going to either, but I don't think it's because of any good reason other than she doesn't want appealable issues. And she seems to be a little bit more than defense friendly. Like, you know, I know she's defense friendly. I know I gave her a lot of credit for all that, but I'm at the point now where if there's not some serious repercussions, if this was any other judge, Arca would be disqualified. These people would be sitting in jail. Like, fuck all this shit. Judges don't put up with this shit. They're lying to her face. So it's, and they continue to do it because she allows them to get away with it continually.
If what Arca is reviewing, this is an asterisk, if what Arca is reviewing is the Commonwealth expert report, and the Commonwealth is allowed to bring in that report, you can't limit Arca from then being able to talk about that report. That's what experts do. That is a back and forth battle of the experts.
They have to produce discovery. See, this is the other thing that defense, with all these experts that they called in the last trial, nobody wrote a report. You want to know why? Because then the Commonwealth, they're sandbagged. They don't know what they're going to testify to. If the expert doesn't write a report, then the opposing side doesn't have to give them anything. So the person that doesn't know what these people are testifying to have no way to prepare for their testimony. They have no idea what they're going to even testify. So this is the other little fucking bullshit move. It's like, it's so dirty. And the fact that Judge Bev lets them get away with it. I mean, she did that with all of their experts last time. Just let them do it. And Lally had no time to prepare, had no idea what they were going to testify to. I mean... and he was one attorney doing the work of fucking 5 high-priced attorneys. And it was, thank God for his hard work and dedication that we're here with Hank again, getting another chance to expose the actual corruption in this case, which is between the defense attorneys, Josh Levy, Karen Read, and her family, and all of these fucking disgusting YouTubers that continually lie to the public.
So they allowed the Commonwealth to turn over late discovery with their expert. She's not going to limit that Arca can't talk about it.
But see, that's the problem. They have the report. Brennan gives them everything. Everything. But what they're going to do is do what? Behind the scenes testing, not write a report, so Brennan's not going to know what they're going to testify to, so he can't prepare. That's sandbagging. They shouldn't be allowed to get away with it. It's not illegal, but it's really dirty tactics. And when we've already been through one trial with these sleazy attorneys doing this with all of their experts, now they're going to turn around and do that shit again with people that the court, it's been exposed that they're fraudulent hired guns, and then they're still going to be able to do it? Fuck all that. Fuck all that.
When the Commonwealth represented, they're doing new testing. I'm not seeing that they're doing new testing. Based on what the defense has said, and we'll see if this is responding and evaluating the Commonwealth's expert. If they're actively doing additional testing, could that be different? Maybe. Will we find out when there's a voir dire? Yes. So do I think Arca's going to get limited? I don't think so. But it might be that they are limited in their new information, that it is responsive to what the Commonwealth brings in. So if the Commonwealth doesn't bring it in, then they don't bring it in. But I don't see her limiting the defense's response to the Commonwealth's new expert. I don't see that happening.
Well, if they are going to do testing to contradict the Commonwealth's expert, then they need to disclose the discovery to the Commonwealth. They can't just sandbag them on the stand and not write a report and say, well, we built another potato launcher and we did this. But there's no information. How did you come to these conclusions? We just did. We have PhDs. Everybody believe us. Because we're hired guns. We wear suits.
And if it does, I'll be surprised. And we'll evaluate it then. Could I see her limiting it as to new things that are not responsive to the Commonwealth? Maybe. So we'll see. But splitting the hairs of, Your Honor, you asked me about emails and these are text messages, is not going to make this judge endeared. in any way. It's just going to piss her off. So it's going to be interesting to see what the full day of voir dire looks like. Yeah, I'm interested to see. But new testing, I don't know, is evaluating the expert report from the Commonwealth and responding to it, new testing? No. If they are doing new testing, could that be a problem? Maybe. Should the defense have been more forthcoming? They're going to say no. They're going to say, get wrecked. What are you going to do? Get wrecked is what the defense is going to say. You asked about emails, we answered about emails. We had communications, we answered about communications. Do I think they downplayed it? Yeah. Jackson's representations about whether or not ARCA was paid were not accurate.
They lied. Okay? Again, she's minimizing. Were they not accurate? Yeah. Did they just say, that's okay, like, get wrecked, it's totally cool? No, they fucking lied over and over and over, and they're still lying.
And the court was pissed.
And Emily knows that.
Is the court still pissed? Yep. Is there much the court can do about it? Not really. For those of you asking if it's going to be grounds for appeal, the Commonwealth can't really appeal. If she's acquitted, the Commonwealth can't appeal. If she's convicted, the defense appeals. And the Commonwealth can't really say, well, you didn't turn this over. There's not much the Commonwealth can do. And the defense knows that. And
exactly. There's the truth. She's telling you the truth right there. The defense can be sleazy, fucking slimy assholes because the defendant has all the rights and the Commonwealth doesn't. And all of these people that are coming down on Brennan saying the Commonwealth deserves a fair trial too, Your Honor. It's true. Because they're being sandbagged left and right, and this judge is not holding the defense accountable for any of their shit. And Hank Brennan is not going to fucking stand for this shit. So if Judge Bev doesn't fucking pull the hammer down, you can bet your ass that Hank Brennan is not stopping with Judge Bev. He'll bring it to the attention of people that can and will do something if she's not going to after the trial is over. Again, he's going to get his conviction, and then he's going to deal with these fucking lying sacks of shit.
Brennan knows that too. He's a defense attorney. So, practical effect, the court's mad. Practical effect, the court's mad, and the ARCA voir dire got bumped up. But is the prosecution going to continue to bang their fist about how mad they are about ARCA? Yes. They're not letting it go. They know. They know the impact ARCA can have on the case. We don't know what the prosecution...
It's not that. All you lying sacks of shit, no, it's not that. It's not about the effect ARCA can have. Yeah, it's about the fraud. If they want to come in and do legitimate testing and be stand-up scientists and actually do experiments and own their own work and say, I did this work and this is how I did it and this is how I came to this conclusion. And yes, you want to give me some more discovery? Sure, I will take a look at that and see if it affects my experiments at all. That is what Brennan wants these experts to do. He wants them to do their work in a legitimate, honest way. The reason Hank is so pissed is because they're lying, it's fraud, and they're saying whatever the defense wants them to say. And they're trying to hide their fraud. And Emily, you fucking know that shit.
Experts look like we haven't seen their new experts. We saw Trooper Paul last trial. Trooper Paul was not great, but they have a new expert. They're not going to get to have their new expert and not have ARCA testify. That's not going to happen. But it is also not a good look. It is not a good look. So there are, well, I don't know the nature of the communications because we don't have the summary. I will look for them to answer those questions tomorrow. I've seen a lot of you say, but how can they turn over their conversations with their experts? Because they're their conversations with their experts, which is probably why the literal text messages don't exist and they were summarized in the case file. So we will see. I'm going to go look for those filings after we are done.
That just made me think of when Alessi said that. Well, we didn't get the communications between the Commonwealth and their experts because the Commonwealth isn't lying about anything. The only reason Hank wants this is because they fucking told the court that they didn't have communication with ARCA. But they found out that they did. They fucking broke the law. And they lied to the court. That is why this is different. They represented them as not being paid and not being in communication with them. And it's a lie, and it's fraud, and it's illegal. And it's sandbagging the Commonwealth.
Today, but do I think we're going to have a huge issue? I think the court's going to be mad the voir dire is earlier than it would have been. I think that's going to be the practical effect. So I don't think the judge can preclude ARCA. Could she limit them? We'll see, but I don't think the judge can preclude them at this point. We should get to your questions. A lot of you are asking, isn't it work product? I have not looked at the work product specifically in Massachusetts, and I have not looked today or even over the weekend at the court's order specifically. So
again, she's lying right here because typically, yes, it's work product. The reason this is not work product is because they lied. I don't know how many different ways I can say that, but the fact that Emily is not fucking being honest with her community really pisses me off, because so many people go and watch these law tubers and expect them to tell them the truth, and she just fucking lies over and over and over. He wouldn't be asking for the communications. Is he asking for communications between the defense and any other of their experts? No. Why? Because they're not lying about them. Because they told them this is who our experts are going to be. Okay. Cool.
Would want to look at that and see how narrow that communication or how narrow that order was before I answer, because the court cannot order them to turn over work product, but communication about how they were hired, what they were asked to do, those things can be turned over. So I need a little more information before I can break that down for you, because this was a lot of information this afternoon. We'll get to it before Friday, so don't worry about that. My in-ears are fighting with me.
Translation, she needs to communicate with other law tubers to find out how they're going to twist the facts to lie, but not totally lie, so that it's partially true.
So, the solution
Disgusting.
really is going to be the one year. It's really going to be the 1 year, but I want to go back and look at the language of the court's order. Let's see if I think I have it. Hold on. I think I have the court's order because that happened this order just happened. So let me see if I can find that real quick, and then we will get to then we go to questions. But let me see. We're gonna pull up the language of that order first because, well, I'm curious. Are you curious, chat? Let me know if you're curious. Let me know if you're curious. And for all of you that are like, that was a lot of energy. Oh, that was a lot of energy. All the lawyers are mad. All the lawyers are mad. All the lawyers are mad. This is trial. Shit gets serious, and people get really frustrated, and that's very clear. And the Commonwealth thinks that the defense is splitting hairs. The defense thinks that the Commonwealth is splitting hairs. Everybody really is splitting hairs. And the Commonwealth has definitely not been when they say we've done everything by the book. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
See, this is bullshit. This is the kind of shit that AJ and fucking Eddie and Alessi, they all do. Oh, well, they haven't been honest. You want to fucking find something that Brennan lied about or didn't hand over? Fucking show me. Show me. That man has more integrity in his big toe than any of y'all have in your entire fucking bodies combined. You lying bastards. The whole thing is about what? Michael Proctor's mean text messages and Sally Port video that proves nothing? Seriously? That is not even in the fucking same universe as what's happening with ARCA.
Bryan, let's calm down a little bit. But Bryan also knows as a prosecutor, when the defense does stuff and doesn't turn stuff over, there's not much you can do about it. You can try to make them do it beforehand. There's not much you can do. What are you gonna do? Have a mistrial? That's not gonna help you. Look, at this point, the prosecution doesn't have a lot that they can go on. They just don't. So that's gonna be frustrating to them.
I beg to differ, and I can't wait to fucking tune into these lying law tubers when Brennan starts fucking exposing all of their lies during voir dire and calling them out for the filthy bastards that they are. Because I just, again, I have no inside information, but knowing how I am like a dog with a bone and knowing how Brennan has attacked this case, there's no fucking way that he doesn't have some ammunition to call out these fucking fraud, lying, perjuring assholes. So I'll be tuning in to see how they twist that and fucking lie to the public and lie to their audience to get all of their super chats to just be lied to.
But yeah, does that happen? Yeah. Were there things that the prosecution didn't turn over until after the first trial? Yeah. So, is it a lot for Brennan to be like,
what? Again, what? The Sally Port video that proves nothing? You know what? If the Sally Port video proves anything, I can't wait to see, because apparently this Sally Port video was so damn important that it should be the fucking main attraction for the defense case, right? Like, we better watch a whole bunch of that Sally Port video that's gonna prove all kinds of fucking dirty shenanigans. Since this was such a fucking big deal and such prosecutorial misconduct that they didn't hand over video of a fucking Lexus sitting in a garage for fucking 86,000 hours. Fucking God, you lying sacks of shit.
We've got everything. Yeah.
Yeah, they have.
Let's take a look at this court's order. This was ordered April 16th. We haven't had a chance to go over this yet. So let's take a look at this court's order real quick, and then we will summarize and answer some questions. Yes, Emily, go ahead and end the poll. Let's see. We had 13% of you that did not watch the first trial with over 20,000 votes. That's a lot of you new to this.
That's how many people she is lying to right now. Afterwards.
Case. Welcome. This case is there's a lot of times that you'll hear myself and probably everyone else who talks about this case go, huh, I don't think I've ever seen that before. 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 It's
Yeah, because most attorneys have morals and ethics and integrity, and they don't just fucking lie to people, and they don't just commit fraud and embezzlement and fucking disgusting illegal RICO charge type shit. Like I said, hope to God this is the last time we see this, and hope to God it all comes to light, because if they get away with this shit with fucking slaps on the wrist, our justice system is fucking done. I mean, look at California. Look at what's happening. They don't want to fucking hold criminals accountable. And we have fucking people starting people on fire on the fucking trains in New York. I mean, it's unbelievable that this is how our politicians want to run our country.
Like every single strange circumstance, all in one case. It's a lot of unusual. All right. Let's take a look.
And again, she's lying. She's just, it's so unusual. No, it's unusual because you have attorneys who are literally committing crimes. That's why it's unusual.
What the ruling on the Commonwealth's motion to compel reciprocal discovery of ARCA is.
And you don't have people in mainstream media calling the shit out.
Commonwealth moves, and I have not read this yet, we're doing this together in real time. The Commonwealth moves for an order compelling the defendant to produce discovery pertaining to the ARCA witnesses in compliance with the defendant's obligations under Rule 14. The Commonwealth requests the court order the defendant to certify its discovery obligations are complete. I mean, the prosecution did certify their discovery multiple times in this case and then continue to turn over discovery, so did that happen yet?
Yeah, because they kept asking for stuff and Brennan bent over backwards to get it. These are important details. You can't just say that they kept turning over discovery. There wasn't anything that they thought that they needed to turn over. But Jackson wants to make a big deal out of fucking shit that doesn't matter. And quite frankly, Brennan didn't have to do it. He could say fucking pound dirt because it doesn't fucking matter. But he does. And he turned over everything. And then they use it against him like he did something wrong. Because he was being honest, forthright, and bending over backwards to do what they were asking him to do. And then he still gets shit on.
After review of the written submissions and oral argument on the motion, which we covered, it is ordered that by April 18th, 2025 at 5 p.m., the defendant shall produce to the Commonwealth any outstanding discovery listed under 1, 2, and 3 of the Commonwealth's motion, footnote 1. In addition, by April 18th at 5 p.m., the defendant must disclose to the Commonwealth any oral representation agreements or understanding regarding anticipated reimbursements or payments on behalf of ARCA. I mean, that's fair. What is your retainer agreement? Any reimbursements or payments made to or on behalf of ARCA between any member of ARCA and the defense team, including the defendant. It's further ordered that by April 21st, so Monday at noon, the defendant must disclose to the Commonwealth any testing underway, requested, or contemplated. It sounds like they did do that. As to any testing underway, requested, or contemplated that is not completed, the date the testing will be completed, and the results of any testing. And it sounds like they said May 1st. So that was, it sounds like the defense said, yes, we have things in the works that will be...
But they need to detail what it is, how they're doing it, what they expect that it's going to be, and they need to write a fucking report and not ambush the Commonwealth and just get up on the stand and testify to shit that they don't know what the fuck is coming. That's the problem, and Emily knows that.
That will be disclosed by May 1st. So, that. After receiving the advice...
And yeah, how about this really important point that Hank made? They had 3 years to get a dog bite expert, to get an accident reconstruction expert, to get a medical expert, to get these experts. And guess what? They waited and waited and waited. This dog bite expert came to them like a fucking fairy from Los Angeles, just happened to flip open and just, I could be helpful. She just popped in, no report, so she's just on the fucking stand giving fucking bullshit testimony that's all a bunch of fucking lies. And if people with brains listen to that, you would see that, okay? Now, then, the ARCA shit. They could have hired somebody else. If they weren't gonna hire ARCA, if they had some fucking... They paid ARCA, okay? So for them to sit and say that they didn't have the ability to hire ARCA, bullshit. Bullshit, first of all. Second of all, you need to fucking tell the Commonwealth what you're doing, who's doing it, not just, we're going to have a group of people conducting experiments, and these are the conclusions we're going to come to, but we're not going to tell you what we did, how we did, why we did it, nothing. Ugh.
For additional relief. And that's what they did today, isn't it? Footnote 1. All bills, invoices, contracts, retainers, engagement letters, or payments that have been created for the defense of Karen Read or provided to or from Read defense team from March 1st, 2024 at present. 2. All emails, letters, or any written correspondence, including text messages, at any time between any employee of ARCA and any member of the Read defense team, including Karen Read. 3. All phone ledgers evidencing phone calls or text messages between any employee of ARCA, it sounds like that was turned over, and any member of the Read defense team, including Karen Read, at any time. So it sounds like the issue is all letters, emails, written correspondence, including text messages, and it sounds like the defense provided a summary of text messages, but not the actual literal text messages. They turned over a summary of that. These were ordered on April 16th. And the defense said, whatever. As of April 16th, none of them existed. So we turned over everything that we have. So for those of you asking about the March 1st to present, that modifies the billing, not the communications. So billing, all communications at any time. All phone ledgers. Well, we're going to ask about it. If there are physical text messages, well, the prosecution's not going to be happy, but I don't know what they think they have. Saying, well, Your Honor, we watched on your docu-series and we think there's more text messages. I don't know what they watched. Will we see it on Friday? Probably, because they're going to ask about it. So let's see, where are we at the end of day one? At the end of day one, we have seen opening statements. Net, I think the prosecution's opening statement was far better than it was last trial, and I think the defense simplified their defense. They made it very clear at the beginning.
Brennan's opening statement was beautiful.
Their opening, that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. And they focused on the investigation. They focused on the...
Which, mind you, is what Melanie Little has been spouting. And you really think that Melanie Little isn't in fucking communication with these people? It's literally what she's been saying. And then she's like, oh, good, they focused on what I told them, what I thought that they should. Like, these people are in communication. If you don't think that they're in communication with the defense attorneys, you're not living in reality.
Lack of investigation authority for Fairview, and they focused on the evidence that will show, in their argument, that John O'Keefe was not hit by a car. The prosecution did not focus on that it was snowing, but focused on Karen Read's statements, focused on, said that Karen Read was the one covering things up, that she knew exactly where to find John O'Keefe because that is where she left him, focused on the statement where she said, when I last saw him, and I'm paraphrasing because it's been a very long day, he was not mortally injured, or when I saw him, he was not mortally wounded or mortally injured. And so overall, I think the opening statements were far better, and I think they gave the jury two very different versions of the case, and I imagine at the end of that, the jury was like, huh, what? Witness one was an interesting choice because it was firefighter paramedic Nuttall, who had the furrows last trial. And in cross-examination.
And thank God, I want to just say that Nuttall did an amazing job. He kept his cool. He's one of the most, like, peaceful dudes. Like, he wasn't letting Jackson bully him. He stood his ground. He was professional and caring and empathetic, and you could tell that he cared about what he did, that he was there to save a life. He was not there to investigate a crime. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
It was clear that Nuttall's testimony was, he heard Karen Read say I hit him, then he heard Karen Read say I hit him, and then it was I hit him. I don't know if the jury at this point will be like, your first witness.
See, this is all so misleading right now. Like, that's not what Nuttall said. Nuttall was very clear about what his testimony was and what he heard. This was not confusing. And the fact that she's twisting this very, very simple fucking thing is shocking to me. I mean, if people watched the trial with her, was she talking through the trial? I mean, does she do what Melanie does? Do they just sit and talk and make faces and like their audience doesn't actually listen and watch the trial? Because that's not what happened. That's not how he testified.
Has no idea what was said, remembers one thing, doesn't remember anything else? Maybe not. It's kind of a cumulative effect with that?
No, I think, personally, if I was on that trial, I would look at Jackson and say, this guy's a dick, and he is coming at an EMT paramedic who's trying to save a life, and coming at him about statements that he made 3 years ago and trying to trip him up on, like, one thing, maybe this was different or that was different, and then showing him a part of the video, trying to mislead the jury. Like, that's the kind of shit that, thank God Hank Brennan's on this, because he's like, oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Like, I didn't know what the fuck was going on there. I didn't know why he was so confused. But as soon as Hank got up and said, really, is this the part of the video? Or is this the part of the video? Like, Jackson's trying to mislead. That's what he does. Hank Brennan's not going to let him get away with that shit. And he got called out immediately. So keep it up, Jackson. Keep treating all of these wonderful humans like shit, because people like you cannot see what empathetic, compassionate people see. You want to treat these people like fucking villains when you're the one defending somebody on the charges of murder, but you're going to attack paramedics and firefighters and doctors and every single person, John's loved ones. You're just going to treat them like shit. Keep it up, Jackson. Keep it up. And Emily, if you think that that's fucking, she's lying. She's lying. If she really thinks that the jury is going to be like, oh yeah, they totally are like, yeah, Nuttall's lying, you're out of your fucking mind. You're not an emotionally or mentally well human being if that's what you took away from that trial, or from the first day of trial.
His memory's good as it is, not good as to that. The cross-examination and redirect and direct and redirect got a little bit long on points, but I think at the end of like the recross, Alan Jackson brought it around and said, okay, so you described it this way, and then in this video you're saying it this way, and now you're saying it this other way. Those aren't all the same.
Again,
And
not true at all.
The prosecution called Carrie Roberts, who went with Jen McCabe and Karen Read to 34 Fairview that morning, and her testimony stopped for the day right when Carrie got out of the car and ran towards a mound of snow, how Carrie described it. That's where we ended for the day. Then all the fighting over ARCA, no jury.
Melanie Little said that the defense has some ammunition up their sleeves for Carrie Roberts. So I'll be real curious to see how they're going to attack one of John's best friends who didn't know anybody except John, whose loyalty is only to John and John's family. So yeah, I want to see what kind of bullshit they're going to fucking try to pull on Carrie Roberts, because she is not going to fucking bend over for these assholes either.
Friday, because it's going to be a full voir dire day of ARCA on Friday. But the jury will be back tomorrow on Wednesday, and so will I. I will start around the same time court starts. Exactly what time Emily D. Baker starts. Well, EDB is on EDB standard.
Okay, I'm way late to feed my fur babies. Again, I go way longer than I anticipate. I appreciate everybody that's listening and that's commenting, and I can see that there are people here. I see Casey, but I can't read your writing because my eyes are getting old. I tell ya, you hit 40 and your eyes age. But I will go back on my computer and read them, and I will respond. I'm hoping to go on with Twisted Tragedy sometimes. We'll see. I have things I have to do tomorrow, so I don't know that I will tomorrow. But I hope people wake up, and I hope people know that there's a soft place for them to land, and there are people that care about the fact that they've been taken advantage of. All of us that know the truth about what's going on and are watching this train wreck happen before our eyes are horrified, and we want to help. But it gets to be a lot when people are just gaslighting, and you think you're reaching somebody, and then they're like, they're just saying just crazy shit, and you're like, how does that even matter? Like, Higgins butt dialed Albert, and does that mean that Karen didn't kill John? Does that take away all the car data that literally puts time and place of when she murdered him? No. So leave it alone. Like, go into another trial and ask all of these witnesses for all of their phone records, and it's just like, this is not normal behavior. They're doing this because they don't have anything else, so they're attacking everybody else except the person on trial for murder. So please, if you have been bamboozled, please take a step back. Watch some creators like Twisted Tragedy, Yellow Cottage Tales. Masshole Mafia has a lot of videos from like pre first trial that you can go and like listen to court docs and stuff like that. I mean, I have a lot of information on my channel, but I'm just a small, I'm not a videographer. I don't have like beautiful videos. I just do it to get information to the world, because it's shocking to me. It's scary to me. It's abhorrent to me what has been happening, and how many people are literally co-signing this behavior, jumping on the bandwagon of this behavior, and abusing all of these people and contributing to the horror of the actual victims' loved ones. It's like, I literally cannot even begin to understand, like Emily D. Baker, Melanie Little, the lawyer, Alan Jackson, David, like, how do they sleep at night? How do they say, oh, this was a good day. We made $50,000 off of super chats, and I feel good about it. Lying to everybody, misleading everybody that trusts me to tell them the truth about the law because I have a law degree. Or the media, like Vinnie Politan. It's disgusting what he's done. There's a lot of people that are disappointed, especially in him, because we've all liked Vinnie for so long. But his co-signing of this shit, he knows what Turtle Boy did. He knows. And he entertains Nick Rocco and Nurse Kim and Melanie Little on his show to just spin this bullshit like he doesn't know that these attorneys are literally committing crimes. He knows. And that's disgusting. Where the fuck are the people with integrity in this world? Where are the actual investigative reporters? Where are the actual journalists? I mean, if I'd love to be a journalist and break this story and have people realize what's going on. I mean, the people, I think, know, but nobody's talking about it. It's unbelievable to me. They just hide their criminal behavior for power, politics, and money. This is how the world works. It's disgusting. If that's the kind of world that we're going to live in, I don't want to be in it anymore. That's not we're here to love. That's the meaning of life. Not for power and money. It's fucking disgusting. Anyway, I love you all. I have to go feed my fur babies. And hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Please feel free to ask questions. I will get back to you. And I hope to talk to you all soon. Mwah. Love and light. Spread love and light. Give people hugs. Let people know that you care about them. We need light in the world. We have to combat all of this darkness, and we have to bring love and light everywhere we go. A smile can change somebody's entire day, which can change somebody's entire week, which can change their entire year. Little things make the biggest difference. Let people know you love them. Let people know you care. Be supportive to everybody, not just people that you know, people that you don't know. We're all human. We need grace. We need love. We need light. Mwah. Love you all. Good night.